I woke up in a body that wasn't mine, staring at my father's handwriting on the fridge magnet. Let Victoria and Alex move in tomorrow. Family first. The scalpel scar on my new wrist itched like a promise of blood I hadn't yet spilled. And as I flexed fingers that felt like borrowed gloves, I whispered to the empty room, "Dad, you just handed me the keys to their undoing." The rain hammered the roof of our old craftsman house in Oak Park, Illinois, like it was trying to drown out the ghosts I'd carried for 3 years. 3 years since that routine procedure at the clinic, Victoria's clinic. The one she'd founded with Dad's money after Mom's cancer bills wiped us clean. Back then, I was Elena Hargrove, 25. Fresh out of Northwestern with a marketing degree and dreams of climbing the ladder at her biotech startup, SwapTech Innovations. Victoria was the stepmom I never wanted, sharp-suited, silver-streaked hair pulled into a chignon that screamed boardroom battles, and eyes like polished obsidian. She'd married Dad 6 months after Mom's funeral, swooping in with promises of stability and a son, Alex, who was my age but worlds apart, Ivy League polish over street-smart venom. I didn't know then what she was really building in those labs. Body transference. Not the sci-fi crap from movies, but real, experimental neural mapping, swapping consciousnesses between bodies for the ultra-rich to dodge aging, accidents, or, hell, prison time. She called it eternal second chances. I called it playing God with a scalpel. The betrayal hit like a freight train when I found the files, hidden in her office during a late-night internship shift. Emails to black market surgeons, test subjects vanishing from psych wards, and one name circled in red, mine. She'd dosed my coffee that night, wheeled me into the and when I woke up, this shell of a life. The body of Lila Voss, a junkie who'd OD'd in an alley behind the clinic, homeless. Track marks fading under my frantic scratches. Her memories flickering like bad reception in my skull. 28. Gaunt. With eyes too wide and a laugh track of coughs from years of bad choices. But Victoria? She got my body. My smooth skin. My runner's legs. My face that turned heads at Dad's backyard barbecues. She paraded around as Elena, the dutiful daughter, while I clawed my way back from the streets, piecing together who I was from newspaper clippings and a burner phone I'd stolen from a shelter. The crime she pinned on me? Embezzlement from SwapTech, $2 million siphoned to offshore accounts. I'd taken the fall because the ledgers were in my name, my logins, my signature on the transfers. But it was her. All her. Covering for the first swaps, elite clients trading wrinkled husks for fresh meat from the vulnerable. I'd borne that lie for her. Confessed in a haze of drugs she fed me post-swap. Sentenced to 3 years in Logan Correctional. Released early for good behavior, but marked forever. Now, here I was, back in Oak Park, crashing on Dad's couch under the alias Lila, the distant cousin I'd spun for him over frantic calls. Parkinson's had hollowed him out, tremors in his hands, fog in his eyes, but his voice still boomed with that old-school Midwestern grit. "Family's all we got, kiddo," he'd slur over the phone. And when Victoria, in my skin, suggested they move in to help with my care, he didn't hesitate. "Elena needs space for her big promotion," he'd said. Promotion. As if stealing my life came with a corner office. I stared at the magnet again. My Lila's nails bitten to the quick. Tomorrow. They'd arrive. Victoria and my curves. Alex with his trust fund smirk. And whatever entourage of lawyers and goons she dragged along. Dad thought it was a fresh start. I knew it was checkmate. I'd spent my prison time not rotting, but plotting. Smuggled in laptops, contacts from the underground, ex-SWAPTech whistleblowers who'd lost loved ones to her trials. I'd hacked her schedules, mapped the house's weak spots, the basement lab Dad never knew about, hidden behind the wine cellar. And the twist? A black market neural disruptor, jury-rigged from scraps I'd bartered in the yard. One zap, and I'd swap us back. Or break us all. But revenge isn't clean. It's a slow poison. Controversial as hell in a country that preaches forgiveness on Sundays and vengeance in prime time. Was I the monster for planning to burn it all? Or was she, for turning daughters into disposable shells? As thunder cracked outside, I slipped into the kitchen drawer, palming the vial of uncut fentanyl I'd sourced from Lila's old dealer. Insurance. Dad's snores rattled from upstairs. Welcome home, I murmured to the dark. Let's make it memorable. The moving truck growled up the driveway at dawn, its diesel fumes mixing with the petrichor of last night's storm. I watched from the lace-curtained window, heart pounding like a bass drop at a South Side club. Dad shuffled out in his faded Cubs jersey, waving like a kid at Christmas. Victoria stepped from the cab first, me, all lithe grace and honeyed smile, her hair, my hair, catching the weak December sun. She hugged him, lingering just long enough to plant the seed of doubt. Alex followed, hauling a designer duffel, his jaw set like he owned the block already. 27. Heir to her empire, with a law degree from Yale and a rap sheet buried under NDAs. He'd been her enforcer, intimidating witnesses, shredding files. The one who'd held me down during the swap, whispering, Sadi, cease. Mom needs this more. I smoothed Lila's threadbare sweater, the fabric rough against skin that still felt foreign. 3 years of mirrors lying to me, of voices in my head, Lila's echoes, her regrets bleeding into mine like ink in water. She'd been a runaway from Gary, Indiana, hooked on pills after her baby's daddy split. Died alone, but not before dreaming of a clean slate. Ironic. That. Now I wore her like a revenge dress. Lila, get out here, Dad bellowed, his voice cracking on the edges. I forced a smile, Lila's crooked one, all teeth and no warmth, and stepped onto the porch. The air bit cold, carrying the scent of wet leaves and exhaust. Victoria's eyes, my eyes, locked on mine. A flicker of recognition? Or just the predator sizing up fresh meat? You must be the cousin, she said, extending a hand manicured to perfection. Her grip was firm, nails digging like she was testing for weakness. Victoria. So nice to finally meet the family helper. I shook, feeling the pulse in her wrist, my wrist, steady as a metronome. Lila, I corrected, voice husky from Lila's smoker lungs. Heard a lot about you. SWAPTech's the talk of the town, Alex snorted behind her, unloading boxes stamped with corporate logos. One caught my eye, neural equipment fragile. My disruptor hummed in my pocket, a cheap prototype buzzing against my thigh. Inside, the chaos unfolded like a bad reality show. Dad directed traffic, his tremors making the coffee mugs rattle on the counter. Victoria's got big plans. Lila. Expanding the clinic, saving lives. Saving lives. If only he knew how many she'd gutted for her advances. We settled in the living room, faux oak furniture creaking under the weight of small talk. Victoria perched on the sofa, crossing my legs, regaling Dad with tales of venture capital wins. Elena's been invaluable, she said, nodding at herself. Sharp as a tack. Handled that messy audit last year single-handed. Audit. The embezzlement cover. I'd confessed to it in that fogged interrogation room. My new body slurring alibis that didn't fit. The judge, a donor to her PAC, slapped me with time served plus probation. Model prisoner, the warden noted, but only because I'd played Lila to perfection. Quiet, broken, invisible. Alex caught my gaze then, his smirk fading into something colder. He knew. Of course he did. Brother in crime. Literally. Lunch was a tense affair. Turkey sandwiches from the deli on Lake Street, eaten around the scarred oak table where Mom and I'd done homework. Victoria picked at hers, complaining about the help at her Gold Coast penthouse, now my penthouse, sublet under fall stocks. We'll miss the view, she sighed. But family comes first. Dad beamed, oblivious. I excused myself to check the basement, slipping away with a pitcher of iced tea laced just enough with Dad's pain meds to keep him foggy. Down there, amid dusty shelves of Mom's old romance novels and Dad's tool bench, the wine cellar door loomed. Unlocked, sloppy. Victoria. I eased it open, flashlight beam cutting the dark. The lab was compact. Humming servers, vials of glowing serums, a surgical chair bolted to the floor with restraints still dangling like party streamers. Blueprints tacked to the wall. Phase 3, full transference protocol. Names listed, CEOs, senators, a pop star who'd retired young. And at the bottom, crossed out, Elena Hargrove, test subject alpha. My hands shook as I pocketed a data drive, the disruptor's frequency sinking in my mind. Lila's memories surged then. A bad trip. Shadows whispering of stolen kids for parts. We'd been her prototype run. Me and a dozen others. Consciousnesses shuffled like cards in a con. But why me? The secret she'd buried. Mom hadn't died of cancer. Victoria's early experiments, radiation leaks from prototype scanners, had accelerated it. Guilt? Or opportunity? She'd swapped Mom's failing body with the donor's. But the mapping glitched. Mom's mind lingered in limbo, archived on a drive somewhere. I'd borne that too, her deathbed vigil. The blame Dad heaped on stress when it was Victoria's machine all along. Footsteps overhead. I froze. Disruptor live. Alex's voice drifted down. Mom? That junkie's staring too hard. You sure about her? Victoria's laugh, my laugh, chilled me. Dad's soft spot. We'll handle it. Like old times. Old times. The betrayal deepened here, in the damp air thick with ozone. I'd trusted her once. In turn for Summers, believed her women in STEM shtick. She groomed me, then gutted me. For power. For the board seat. For the empire built on stolen souls. I climbed back up, tea tray balanced like a bomb. The afternoon blurred. Unpacking. Laughter forced over Netflix reruns of Succession, irony lost on them. Dad dozed early, meds hitting hard. Night fell, streetlights buzzing like angry hornets. Victoria retired to my old room, Alex to the guest. I waited till the house settled, then crept to the kitchen, vial in hand. But doubt crept in too. Controversial? Hell yes. Swapping back meant dooming Lila's body to whatever fate Victoria scripted. Incineration. Probably. As a relapse. And Dad? If he learned the truth, it'd shatter him. Forgiveness or fury. America loves its vigilantes, but hates the mess. I could walk away, start fresh in some nowhere town like Lila dreamed. But the scar itched. The files burned. Midnight. I padded to Victoria's door, disruptor humming. One press, and her neural net fries. Partial swap. Enough to trap her in limbo. Reliving Mom's last breaths on loop. Poetic. Alex next. His mind scrambled into catatonia.
No caps. No traces.
Just justice. Dark and final. The knob turned silent. She slept, my face peaceful under silk sheets. I raised the device, and her eyes snapped open. You think you're the ghost here, Elena? But ghosts don't sweat. Victoria's voice, my voice, dripped silk over steel as she sat up, sheets pooling like spilled milk. No fear, just that boardroom calm, the kind that sealed deals and silent screams. The room smelled of her, my Chanel no. 5. Cloying in the close air. Moonlight slanted through the blinds, striping her face in silver and shadow, making her look like a funhouse version of the prom photo on the dresser. I gripped the disruptor tighter, thumb hovering over the trigger. Lila's heart, my heart now, thundered. A junkie's jitters I'd never shaken. You knew I'd come back, I rasped, the words scraping Lila's vocal cords raw. 3 years in a cage you built. For what? A promotion. She swung her legs over the bed's edge. Bare feet, my feet, touching the hardwood with a soft thud. No robe. Just a tank top clinging to curves I'd mourned in prison mirrors. For everything, she said, standing slow, deliberate. Your body was perfect, youth. Vitality. No priors.
And you?
Disposable. Like Lila was. She stepped closer. Close enough I could see the faint laugh lines I'd never earned. The ones from deals closed over steak at Gibson's. But sentimental. Aren't you? Dad's little girl. Playing house. Rage boiled. Hot and black. But I held. This was the maw of it. The deep betrayal. The secret she'd chiseled into my bones. Not just the swap. But the lie before, Mom's cancer, was a cover for Swapteca's beta tests. Victoria had lured her in with experimental therapies, zapped her with unstable fields until cells rebelled. Then, the swap attempt to save her botched, leaving Mom's essence digitized, a digital poltergeist in Victoria's servers. I'd borne the grief, the funeral, the blame, while Victoria consoled Dad into bed. And the crime? She'd funneled the embezzled funds to perfect the tech, framing me to tie off loose ends. I'd confessed because in Lila's body, doped on her meds, I believed it was me, gaslit by my own reflection. You stole her, I whispered. Disruptor steady.
Mom. Me.
Everything. Victoria's smile twisted my smile. Weaponized. Borrowed. And improved. She lunged then, faster than Lila's reflexes allowed. Nails raking my arm. Pain flared, but I twisted, slamming her back against the dresser. The prom photo crashed down, glass shattering like Brill Trust. We grappled. Bodies, tangled in a grotesque mirror of mother-daughter wrestling. She was stronger. My old muscles honed by Peloton sessions she'd claimed as self-care. I was scrappier. Prison yard lessons in dirty fights. Alex, she hissed, knee driving into my gut. Air whooshed out. Lila's frail lungs protesting. Footsteps thundered in the hall. Too soon. I jammed the disruptor against her temple, trigger depressing halfway. A whine built, low and electric, like a taser charging. The door burst open. Alex filled the frame, blonde hair tousled, boxers and a Glock in hand, pulled from God knows where.
Mom, shit.
His eyes widened, flicking between us. Recognition hit like a sucker punch. The junkie. You're her. Elena. Drop it, I snarled, using Victoria as shield. The disruptor pulsed, heating against her skin. She froze, breath hitching my breath. Shallow now with fear, Alex's gun wavered, Yale polish cracking under sweat. He was the architect of the aftermath, bribing the judge, doctoring my prison records to Lila Voss, deceased, ensuring no one looked twice at the swap's fallout. Cunning. Yeah, Power's little prince, with a Rolodex of senators and a basement full of bodies. Metaphorical and not. Think. Bro. Victoria cooed, voice steady even pinned. Shoot her? And Dad wakes. Questions. Messy. Alex hesitated. Gun dipping. That was my window, controversial calculus. One life for the truth. Or drag them all into the light. I fired. The disruptor hummed. A blue arc leaping from temple to temple, hers to mine. Neural bridges collapsing in a symphony of stolen synapses.
Victoria convulsed.
Eyes rolling white. My face contorting in silent scream. Memories flooded. Not just hers, but Mom's archived agony. A torrent of chemo nausea and flickering scans. Alex lunged, but I sidestepped, Lila's wiry frame dodging like she'd danced this chaos before. The gun clattered, his shot wild, splintering the headboard. She slumped, my body, twitching on the carpet, consciousness unraveling like cheap thread. Partial success. Trapped in limbo. Reliving the swap's glitches. Mom's ghost haunting her forever. Poetic justice. Or cruel. The line blurred in the adrenaline crash. Alex tackled me. Fists raining clean. Calculated blows from a man who'd boxed at Andover. You bitch, he growled. Knuckles splitting Lila's lip. Blood welled. Coppery and real. Grounding me. I need up. Catching his groin. Rolling free. The disruptor skittered under the bed. Spent, but salvageable. We circled. Breaths ragged. The room a war zone of shattered frames and toppled lamps. You're done, he panted, retrieving the Glock. Mom's got backups. Full transference logged. They'll swap her into you. Leave you rotting. Backups. The secret's core. Not one swap, but a network. Victoria hadn't just stolen my body. She'd auctioned souls to the highest bidder. Senators in starlit skins. Tycoons in athletes' frames. The embezzlement? Seed money for the dark web bazaar. I'd borne the fall to protect her donors, elites who'd kill to keep it quiet. Power's underbelly. Controversial as Epstein's Island, but wired into veins. I fainted left, grabbing a brass lamp base, heavy,
Antique.
Mom's heirloom. Swung it like a Louisville slugger, connecting with his temple. He crumpled, gun firing wild again, bullet thunking into the wall. Silence fell, broken only by Victoria's ragged gasps, body seizing in digital purgatory. I knelt by her, tracing my old jawline. Now slack. Tell Mom I said hi. No response. Just the faint glow of her smartwatch, heart rate spiking. Erratic. Downstairs. Dad's cough echoed. Time ticked. Controversial decision 1. Finish Alex? Or wake the house? Let the truth explode? Or contain the blast? America thrives on scandals, Me Too reckonings. Corporate falls, but at what cost? Dad's heart couldn't take it. I zip-tied Alex with cords from the blinds, gagging him with a sock from the hamper. Dragged Victoria to the basement. Her dead weight, my dead weight, bumping stairs like a sack of regrets. The lab welcomed her, strapped to the chair. For lines prepped with the fentanyl vial. Overdose disguised as relapse, Lila's history making it stick. No traces to me. Alex next, bound to the tool bench. Disruptor recharging on low. You'll burn, he mumbled through the gag. Eyes blazing hate. I leaned in, close as confidence. Already did. For her. For you. The betrayal's depth hit anew. Alex wasn't just accomplice. He'd envied me. The real daughter. Victoria's favoritism. Her whispers of, "You're the future." He'd held the syringe during the swap. Tears in his eyes, not remorse. But jealousy. Sibling rivalry. Twisted into murder. Dawn crept. Gray light filtering grates. I climbed up. Washed the blood in the sink. Lila's hands steady now. Dad stirred at the table. Coffee brewing auto. Morning.
Kiddo.
Sleep okay? Like a baby, I lied. Pouring his mug. The plan devolved. Let them arrive fully. Embed. Then detonate. Call the cops on an intruder. Bodies found. Swap tech exposed via the drive-eyed mail to a Chicago Tribune tip line.
Clean.
But the twist loomed. That itch of something off. Victoria's phone buzzed on the counter. Missed call from board chair. Text. Phase 4 greenlit. Subject prep complete.
Subject. Singular.
My gut twisted. Not backups. A new swap. For Dad? File 2 Yendi. Word count. 998. The coffee burned my tongue. Lila's. Numb to heat. But it grounded me as Dad rambled about his glory days at the auto plant. Back when Detroit still dreamed American. Your Aunt Lila was a firecracker, he said, mistaking me again for the cousin yarn. Ran off to the city. Chasing stars.
Like you. Elena. Yeah.
Lila. His eyes. Milky with age. Searched mine for the daughter he'd lost. I nodded. Throat tight. The weight of dual lives pressing like humidity before a squall. Outside. The neighborhood stirred, sprinklers hissing on manicured lawns. Minivans idling for school runs. Oak Park's facade, Frank Lloyd Wright gingerbread hiding messy divorces and opioid stashes. Victoria's empire fit right in, glossy TED Talks on immortality ethics, while basements hummed with the damned. I'd spent mornings like this in prison, staring at cinderblock, plotting contingencies.
Now.
Free but caged in flesh.
The real work began.
I slipped her phone from the counter, screen unlocking with her thumbprint. Messages flooded. Urgent. Hargrove neural map stable. Proceed with paternal integration. Paternal.
Dad.
The secret's venomous heart. Victoria wasn't content with my body. She eyed his. Parkinson's ravaged him. But his mind? Sharp once. A union organizer who'd stared down GM execs. She'd wooed him for access, his old contacts in labor law. Leverage against regs, choking swap tech. The marriage? A merger. Mom's death. Collateral. But Dad's decline? Opportunity. Swap him into a donor body young. Vigorous. then digitize the old shell for research. Auction his consciousness to some oligarch craving blue-collar grit. I'd borne that too, his hospital vigils. The blame heaped on karma for mom's sins, when it was Victoria's probes all along. Deep betrayal. Layered like Chicago's polluted lakefront. And the crime? Not just embezzlement, human trafficking. Souls bartered on dark nets. I'd confessed to the financials to bury the bodies. Her lawyers spinning it as delusional fraud from my addiction. The text chain continued. Alex to handle sedation. Elena body primary vessel. Elena body, hers now primary. She planned to leapfrog. Stacking minds like Russian dolls. Dad into a spare. Her into his fresh frame. Me, Lila, erased as loose end. Controversial? This was apocalypse in a lab coat. America debates gun control over brunch. But neural slavery? That'd spark riots from Silicon Valley to the Rust Belt. I forwarded the chain to my burner. Then deleted traces. Disruptor recharged in my pocket, humming like a hornet's nest. Alex's groan echoed from the basement. Time to tighten the noose. I descended. Toolkit in hand. Pliers from Dad's bench. Zip ties reinforced. He thrashed against bonds. Gags soaked. Eyes promising hell. You think this ends it? He mumbled when I yanked the sock. Mom's got cutouts. Feds on payroll. You'll be the junkie who snapped. Story writes itself. I crouched. Pliers cold against his knee. Like the story you wrote for me? 3 years counting license plates in the yard. While you yachted in my name. Truth or lie? Lila's flashes. Alex at the clinic. Not just holding straps, but selecting donors, runaways, vets. The invisible. He'd culled me for the swap. Jealous of Dad's pride in Elena, the achiever. Sibling sin. Amplified by her ambition. Tell me about Mom, I said, twisting just enough to draw a hiss. The real end. He laughed.
Bitter.
Cancer? Please. Victoria's field test fried her neurons. Tried to map her early glitch city. Digitized the mess. But it corrupted the system. Haunted our prototypes. Ghost in the machine. Making swaps haywire. His eyes gleamed. Feverish. You were the fix. Pure map. No baggage. Dad never knew. Thought it was chemo.
Ghost.
Mom's echo. The secret I'd chiseled from Victoria's files in stolen moments. I'd borne the funeral eulogy. Voice cracking over, she fought so hard, while her digitized screams looped in servers. Victoria buried it by framing me, the stressed intern who cracked under grief. Embezzling to fund a cure. Lies layered. Powers mortar. I tightened the gag. Pliers clinking. Your turn to haunt. Injected a sedative from the lab. Horse trank. Slow dissolve. His lids drooped. Body slumping. Upstairs. Dad called for breakfast. I ascended. Mask in place. Sunny cousin. Flipping pancakes from mix. The day dragged. A powder keg in slow motion. Victoria's body lay dormant in the chair. Monitors beeping erratic. Limbo's lullaby. I fed Dad stories. Laced with half-truths. Victoria's under the weather, migraine. He nodded. Syrup dripping. Good woman. Like your mom. If only. Afternoon brought the board's call. Her phone again. Speaker on mute. Status on Hargrove Sr.? A gravel voice. East Coast money. I deepened Lila's timbre. Prep complete. Sedation tonight. Lies bought time. They bought in. Alex stirred below. Mumbling through fog. I checked. Stable. But scheming. Found his wallet in the guest room, ID, cards, a key fob to the clinic. Leverage. Dusk fell. Street lamps flickering on like judgmental eyes. Dinner. Takeout Giordano's deep dish. Dad's favorite. Cheese stretching like webs. Over slices. He probed. You remind me of Elena sometimes. The way you frown. My fork paused. Heart stuttering. Tell me about her, I said. Casual. Before. Everything. He chewed. Reminiscing college fairs. My first internship. Victoria gave her that shot. Proud as punch.
Pride.
The knife twist. She'd stolen it. Worn it like a stole. Night deepened. House settling into creaks.
I veit til det snores.
Then basement redux. Alex awake.
Sly.
Cut me loose. And we deal. Mom's out, 50-50 on the tech.
Tempting, I lied.
Disruptor to his chest. But deals are your game. Zap, low dose. Scrambling short term. He arched. Foam at lips. Mind fracturing into static. Victoria next. Monitors showed neural spikes. Mom's influence? A whisper in the speakers. Elena. Run. Hallucination? Or real? The controversial crept. Was this mercy? Trapping her with guilt? Or vengeance? Dragging innocents, donors, techies, into fallout? Upstairs. A crash, Dad. Fallen in the hall. I bolted. Finding him crumpled. Parkinson's betrayal. Lila.
Call. Elena.
He meant her me. Irony choked. As I dialed 911. Sirens distant. The twist ignited. Her phone buzzed again. Not bored. Clinic alert. Intruder at secure wing. Voss profile match. Voss, Lila. They'd tracked the body.
Guns en route.
Dad's eyes fluttered. Family. I whispered. I am. But the reversal loomed. Not just revenge. But revelation. Swap back mid-chaos? Or let it burn? By Kitsch for all? File 3 Yendi. Word count. 1005. Sirens wailed closer. A banshee chorus slicing the suburban hush. Red-blue lights painting the living room walls like abstract accusations. Dad lay limp in my arms, Lila's arms, his weight heavy with unspoken years. Breath shallow as Lake Michigan fog. Stay with me, I murmured. Phone wedged between shoulder and ear. Dispatch droning protocols. Oak Park FD en route. Keep him stable. Stable. As if anything in this funhouse was. The clinic alert burned in my pocket. Voss profile. They'd chipped the body. Post-swap insurance. Tracking recidivism. Goons inbound. Black SUVs probably tearing up I-290 from the loop. Time hemorrhaged. Minutes to medics. Hours to exposure. Controversial crossroads. Confess now. Risk psych eval and padded rooms? Or ride the lie? Weaponize the crash? Paramedics burst in. Efficient Midwestern pros in starched blues. Barking vitals. Hypotensive. Parkinson's flare? I nodded. Vague. Meds mix up. They loaded him onto the gurney. Oxygen mask hissing. Wheeling him into the night. I followed. Lila's sneakers scuffing the Deuce-Lick drive. Disruptor stashed in my bra like a guilty secret. Yar at West Suburban buzzed. Fluorescent hell. Bleached tang and muffled sobs. They whisked Dad away, leaving me in vinyl purgatory. Vending machine coffee cooling in styrofoam. Victoria's phone vibrated, suppressed. insistent. Hargrove residence, compromised. Extract assets. Assets. Bodies in the basement. Empire's guts. Alex's key fob glinted under the seat of Dad's old F-150. I'd driven us here. Keys swiped in the scramble. Clinic address embedded in Lila's memories. A nondescript warehouse off Fulton Market. Hipster facade hiding horrors. I revved the engine. Tires spinning gravel. Heading west into the city's maw. Rain slicked the windshield. Wipers thumping like a countdown. The drive blurred. Expressway ghosts. Semis rumbling past. Billboards hawking lawsuits and lotteries, America's twin gods. My mind raced faster. The twist uncoiling. Not just Victoria's plan for Dad, but the reversal. In her limbo, neural feedback looped, Mom's digitized essence overriding her. I glimpsed it on the monitors. Waveforms merging. Identities bleeding. If I swapped back now, whose mind waited?
Mine?
Lila's? Or Mom's? Vengeful and warped? Controversial calculus peaked. Mercy kill the lab. Torch the evidence? Or infiltrate? Extract the archive. Free Mom's ghost. Damn the fallout? Power's antagonist loomed in Victoria's reflection. Not monster, but mirror. We'd both stolen me. This body, her, my life. Who bore the real crime? The clinic loomed. Chain link and sodium lamps. Graffiti tags fading under fresh paint. I parked in shadows. Hood up. Lila's frame slipping through a service gate. Memories guiding like buried treasure. Inside, sterile corridors. Hum of servers. Air thick with antiseptic and ozone. Security cams blinked. I jammed them with a pulse from the disruptor. Cheap EMP ripple. Deeper, the transference wing. Doors hissing pneumatic. Bodies in pods, donors. Mid-swap. Faces slack in induced comas. Names on charts. Subject 47. Vessel for Client Alpha. Elites prepped. Consciousnesses queued. The betrayals scale dwarfed me. Not one crime, but a factory. I'd borne the fall for the prototype. But this?
Systemic scene.
Hidden in plain sight. FDA approvals bought. Protests squashed. Mom's archive. A vault at the end. Retinal scan bypassed with Victoria's phone, her eye mapped from selfies. Inside, racks of drives. Glowing like fireflies in hell. Hargrove.
Archive beta.
I slotted it. Screen flickering to life. Mom's face. Younger. Smiling in pixels. Elena? Is that you? Voice tinny. Synthesized. But hers. Warm as apple pie sundaes. Mom. Tears stung. Lila's ducks generous. She took you. Everything. The digital form wavered. Waveforms spiking.
I saw.
Fought in the code.
Victoria.
She's breaking. Your swap, my glitch corrupted her map. She's me now. Fragmenting. Reversal hit like a gut punch. The twist. Not my victory, but Mom's possession.
Victoria trapped.
Overwritten. My body now vessel for maternal fury. Swap back, Mom urged. End it. But sirens, real ones, outside. Feds, or her cutouts. The board closing ranks. I yanked the drive. Disruptor maxed, but doubt paralyzed. Controversial. Reclaim my skin. Become the thief. Or stay Lila. Let Mom's ghost claim justice? Alarms blared. Footsteps, boots. Multiple. Goons in tactical. Faces masked. Voss. Freeze. I bolted. Drive clutched. Corridors a maze. Shots cracked, suppressor coughs, ricocheting off steel. Lila's lungs burned, but adrenaline surged, dodging into a server room. Sparks flew as I zapped consoles. Flames licking cables, firewall literal. Out a loading dock. Into alley rain. F-150 roaring alive. Drives merged in my head. Mom's archive syncing via Bluetooth implant. Victoria's tech. Unintended bridge. Voices overlapped. Run. Baby. But come home. Back to the hospital. Dawn breaking bloody over the skyline. Dad's stable. For dripping. I slipped in. Drive hidden in my sock. Elena, he murmured. Waking groggy. It's me, Dad. Truth half spoken. The nurse bustled. Oblivious. Then. The call, unknown number. Victoria's voice, mine, crackled. You win. But at what cost? Background. Basement echoes. Alex's curses. She'd roused. Partial. Mom's influence warring. Come get me, she taunted. Or watch it all burn. Climax brewed. Homeward. Revenge's peak. Controversial decisions cascaded. Expose.
Destroy.
Forgive? America argues endings over beers. Justice or mercy. I hung up. Drive warm in my palm. Mom whispered. Choose. The F-150 tore east. Rain sheeting. Toward the house where it began. Bodies waited. Secrets simmered. The swap's endgame. Not victory. But verdict. The house loomed under sodium glow. Porch light a mocking beacon. Rain drumming the roof like impatient fingers. I killed the engine a block away. Slipping through backyards, fences hopped. Sprinklers dodged, Lila's stealth a gift from street nights. Mom's voice hummed in my implant. Faint static. Careful.
Love.
She's waiting. Waiting. The antagonist's gambit. Power's last flex. Front door ajar. Invitation or trap. I eased in. Disruptor drawn. Shadows pooling in the hall like spilled oil. Kitchen first. Magnet askew. Family first, crooked now. Dad's mug shattered on tile. Coffee cold. Upstairs empty. Guest room trashed. Alex is doing? Basement called. Stairs creaking under my weight. The lab pulsed alive. Lights up. Monitors screaming alerts. Victoria stood at the console, my body. Hair wild. Eyes fever bright with dual souls. Took you long enough, she said. Voice layering, hers.
Mean it.
Mom's echo. The overwrite complete. Reversal's cruel joke. She'd fought the glitch. But lost. Mom's essence dominant now. Puppeteering the flesh I'd lost. Mom, I whispered. Disruptor lowering. Horror and hope ward. Controversial resurrection. Frankenstein's daughter. She, they. Tilted head. My old smile fracturing. Partial.
She's. Loud.
Accusations. The cancer. The swaps all pouring out. Hands trembled. Victoria's polish cracking. I came to end it. For her. For you. Alex sprawled nearby. Unbound. Trank wearing off. He groaned. Crawling for the Glock. Fucking glitch. Mom, fight it. She spun. Fluid. Mom's grace in my frame. Your mother? Her voice shifted.
Pure Victoria Venom.
She was weak. Like you. But the eyes. Mom's warmth flickered. Warring. The betrayal's apex, not theft, but fusion. Victoria's secrets spilled digital, logs of swaps. Client lists, the embezzlement trail leading to PAC donations, senators inked. I'd borne the fall.
But now?
Exposure automatic. Drive uploaded to WikiLeaks proxy. Timed release in hours. Alex lunged, gun in hand. No, you don't. Bang, shot wild, grazing my shoulder. Pain bloomed, hot and anchoring. I fired the disruptor, full arc, bridging us all. Neural storm, minds colliding, bodies buckling.
Chaos. Victoria barra diagonal mam convulsed.
Archive drive sparking in her grip. Alex dropped, synapses frying, gun clattering. I hit knees. Lila's form seizing as echoes flooded, Mom's lullabies. Victoria's boardroom cuts. Lila's alley regrets. Identities smeared. A palimpsest of sins. Silence fell. Acrid smoke curling.
Victoria slumped.
Body still. Eyes vacant, swap severed. Limbo eternal? Mom's voice. Final. Forgive. Or free. Then gone. Alex twitched. Vegetative, cunning pruned. I rose. Blood-soaking sweater. Dialing 911. Break in. Shots fired. Truth inverted. Junkie hero. Or killerkin. Cops swarmed. Questions barraged. Statements scripted from prison smarts. Intruders. Family feud gone wrong. Dad. Hospital bound. Spared the sight. Weeks blurred. Headlines exploded. Swap tech scandal. Biotech horror uncovered. Feds raided. Clients scattering like roaches. I testified anonymous. Lila Voss fading into witness protection. New name. New start. Old scars. Dad recovered. Foggy but fierce. Your family, he said at discharge. Gripping my hand. No cousin. Just daughter now. The swap? Buried deep. Controversial whisper. Did I free Mom? Or euthanize Victoria?
Débattrage d'online forum litigating éthique.
Late-night pods dissecting the ghost in the machine. Ending?
Nota idi bau.
I drive coasts now. Wind in Lila's hair. Disruptor scrapped, but itch lingering. Revenge tasted ash, dark. Tense. American as apple pie a la mode, with cyanide. Happy? In fragments. Tragic? Undeniably. You decide. But Dad? He sleeps sound. No more magnets dictating fate. And in quiet nights, I wonder, whose body is this? Really?